Coming up next, Chris Tuttle from NAFI. Hello and welcome to Picking Up the Pieces, where we dare to persevere and help young adults reach their full potential. We'd like to welcome Chris Tuttle with NFI.
Kim, how are you?
Great, we're so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
We're delighted. So let's start off as we usually do here at Picking Up the Pieces. Tell us about yourself.
Well, as you said, my name is Chris Tuttle. I've been with NFI for about 5 years now. Been in the field for a little over 25 years.
Wow.
Mostly working with young adults. And currently my position at NFI, I'm the Director of Behavioral Health.
Great, fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about what NFI is and how it helps people.
NFI is a nonprofit organization. Our home office is in Peabody, Mass. We used to be in Danvers. I still get confused. It's been around for 35 years, and we have several different functions that we do in the community. My division, the Division of Behavioral Health, I oversee all the community-based and residential programs for kids between the ages of 11 and 18. We do have a division that deals with the Department of Youth Services, Juvenile Justice, and we do have an adult division. So we are currently, we're all over the North Shore. We're in Central Mass, not quite in Western Mass yet.
Okay, great. And so tell us a little bit about kind of what's your role and specifically focused on kind of young adults. How do you help young adults? Because this is a very challenging age, especially if a young adult has a mental health challenge.
It is a challenging age, and primarily what we do within the Behavioral Health Division, we have twofold. One is our community-based programs, and we specialize working with young adults and families in our wraparound programs, where I have a team, either a clinician and a case manager that will go into the homes, work with young people and their families, kind of help stabilize what's going on, build on relationships, and kind of help gear and move the family towards, how do I want to say it, really kind of help them solidify and work towards their relationship and work on whatever mental health issues are happening. And then there are the residential side, where we have 4 different programs, ranging from some long-term programs like an IRTP to community-based group homes, where the kids come in. Again, within the residential, we help with the stabilization, help developing skills with them, working in partnership with them and their families to help either reunify and help them move home quicker. And then for a subset of kids that we work with, and mostly that's some of our kids between 17 and 20, we really are working with them to develop lifelong connections and independent living skills and community connections in that manner.
Absolutely. So you really have a myriad of resources that you help young adults develop kind of skills and the support so they can be successful in their lives. Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of our work, especially to the transitional age youth, is anything from vocational job training to getting them into school, helping them graduate high school. We do have a large number of our kids who, after graduating from high school, we move them into community college. Some of our kids move into a 4-year college. We do have a network of community apartments up in the Merrimack Valley. Wow. That we're able to work with kids and get them into their own apartment.
Fantastic.
We offer them support, and then hopefully by the time they're done with us, that apartment is theirs. The lease is in their name. They have money in the bank, and so that they have a permanent place to live.
Wow, so you're really talking about self-sufficiency there.
We are, and it's the program is Safe Harbor up in the Merrimack Valley, and it's been quite successful. And one of the nice things is that the young adults that we're working with build that relationship with the landlord. Now, us as NFI as an agency has worked with landlords, build that relationship, but really the lease is in the child's name. They're working with that landlord. So again, when they're done with us, they have the apartment, they've been there for a while, they have the relationship with their landlord, they have a relationship with their community. Hopefully they're in school, they have a job, and they're able to kind of move on with their life and have a great life.
Wow, and that's fantastic. I think that's so key because so often I work with, as you know, a lot of different agencies, and oftentimes the young adult moves, and a lot of the progress that they made really falls apart because the move is so hard, and they had so many supports in this world. Maybe it's a child services world, or maybe it's at one particular program, and they lose that program support and they move into independent housing. And without that support, a lot of times the young adult unfortunately crashes because it's too many transitions at one time. So I love that you're still supporting them when they end up in independent living, and they can ask those kind of questions like, how do I cook for myself? How do I talk to a landlord? How do I negotiate my lease? You know, all those things. How do I talk to a neighbor who dances at 2 a.m., you know?
Or how do I deal with the neighbor while I'm dancing at 2 a.m. who wants to go to sleep?
Exactly.
It is one of the nice things, and NFI has done a really nice job. One of the things that we're very proud of is building that continuum, because especially for the kids that are in our residential programs who though have family, but living at home really isn't an option at this point. It is how do we transition them out of a residential program where a lot of their needs are being met at that point, and you know, moving into a young adulthood where they have to take more and more responsibility for themselves and their lives, and that's often scary. I mean, it's scary for any kid going 17, 18, 19, moving into that. And then you throw on some of the challenges that our kids face every day, helping them really feel confident, move forward with that. And one of the things that, you know, each child that's going into that independent living track is assigned a case manager, and that case manager works with them very intently in the beginning to do exactly what you're talking about. How do you shop for yourself? How do you do laundry? Now, a lot of those skills, hopefully, if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, those skills for those kids hopefully have been mastered while they've been at the residential program. And so they have some of those basic skills as they move out. But it is a lot about money management. Yes,
that's a key feature, because everyone struggles with money management, but then if you have a mental health challenge on top of that, the organizational skills are challenged, the if-then consequences. Marianne Davis, who's a national expert on this young adult population, the age range, says that the if-then consequences are really challenged at this point, and they're abstract. So money is an abstract concept for most young adults.
Absolutely, and that money management is key, is really truly understanding how much I have to put aside for rent. Because what happens is, and it's a struggle for all of us, but you know, if you're getting paid, or if you're getting, however your income's coming in, it comes in a weekly or bi-weekly check. You take a look at it, and on face, well, this looks like a lot of money. This is what I have. I'm going to go out and buy an Xbox and get myself a good iPhone.
Exactly.
But then it's really helping understand, no. You got to put X amount aside for rent, X aside for food, clothing, and then we can put a little over here for the fun stuff. And it is very hard for the kids to understand that. And the whole scheduling piece.
Yes.
A lot of our kids need a lot of work with that. And especially a lot of coaching around how do I talk to my employer around that I need every Tuesday off from 3 to 4, because that's when I see my individual therapist. So that's when I have my counseling session, or I need to meet with my doc. And even helping our kids be able to talk to their employer or talk to their college professors when they're really struggling. A lot of our case managers spend a lot of time doing that, is really helping them get there.
And those are essential skills. I know I've sat down with many young adults and say, okay, and they say, I've got to email my professor, but what do I say? And some of the best work I've done is helping them form those relationships ahead of time, before there's a crisis, but also how to explain when a crisis does come up, and helping them build relationships, just like with a landlord or with different members of their community, like, okay, I have to go away, you know, who can watch my cat? You know, things that you don't normally happen in your everyday. How do I prepare for that?
Absolutely. We spend a great deal of our time helping our kids, helping the young adults really work through that fear, that anxiety, and getting them over the hump to, it's not as bad as you think. We spend a lot of time talking to our kids, the young adults. I'm sorry, I keep on saying kids. The young adults, it is, absolutely. The young adults, really understanding and recognizing their small victories. We spend a lot of time on small victories. Because for all of us, and especially for the young adults during this transition, it can seem incredibly overwhelming that there's so much in front of me that there's no way I'm ever going to get through it, and it's so insurmountable, and I can't do it. That really helping them take a step back and let's look at the small victories.
Yes.
You made that email, and guess what? Your professor emailed you back, and it's okay.
Yes.
You were able to talk to your employer, your boss. It worked out. Really helping them recognize that. We spend a lot of time doing that.
And I love that you help them do it, because a lot of programs don't have that vision yet. And but if you help a young adult to do it, they stand up a little bit straighter, they smile bigger, whether it's their resume that they do on their own or that first interview call that they made to set up the interview. To help support them, but to help them do for themselves is a key piece.
Absolutely. The whole part of our job is teaching. It's one of the reasons I do this. It's one of the reasons I like doing it. The easy part is, okay, we'll just type up your resume. I'll call your boss for you.
Right.
We'll figure. And then we can feel really good for a moment because, look, life is going really well. And then once we step out, it all crashes. It's the whole part of NFI, the whole part of what we do is teaching.
Right.
And helping you take control of the life that you want to lead. And sometimes it might not be the choices we would make for you, but this is your life, and what direction do you want to go? And we're gonna help you do that.
We're going to support you in it.
We're going to support you and
stand by you, but we're not going to do it for you.
Absolutely, and we'll be there to kind of help you when you fall, because we all fall.
Right.
And we'll support you in that way, and we'll support the healthy choices that you want to make, and we'll talk to you about some of the choices that you're deciding to make, and give you talk out with you the pros and cons of that decision. But absolutely, it's all about instilling and teaching skill, so people can take the ball and go with it on their own.
Absolutely. I think of a young woman that I helped do her resume, and I could have done her resume for her, as you say, like, oh, move over and I'll do it for you in 10 minutes. I've done over 1,000 resumes. But I sat next to her and I helped her struggle with certain words. I had helped her define the internship that she had. I had placed someone in the other job that she had. So I could have described them, but she owned it. And I'll tell you, for at least 3 weeks afterwards, she was like telling people, did you see my resume? I did my resume. That was my resume. And the confidence that she owned doing the resume was worth all her struggle, was worth all that she put into it, because it was hers. And she owned it. And then she could revise her resume, because I'm no longer at that program, but... Absolutely.
And she has it. And we have the same experience with a lot of our kids. When we look at successes and really can sit back and look at, wow, look where Susie is right now.
Right.
And when you sit down and have that conversation with a young person and really go through the timeline of where they are right now, you really remind them, but you did this.
Yes.
You did that. You did. No, you didn't. No, I didn't do it.
Right.
You talked to me about it.
Right.
I might have gave you some suggestions, but you made the phone call. You talked to this person. You did this advocacy. There's one instance I can think of a young lady that was with us, and her team around her were recommending something, one direction, and she really wasn't on board with where that direction was going, and she really was kind of stuck with how she could move forward. She came to us. We talked to her. The staff did a lot of good work with her, and got her to a place where she felt confident to write a letter, make some phone calls, do some advocacy work and all that, and really helped shape the view with the other team members of really where she needed to go.
Wow.
And that really worked out well, but it was that sense of pride at the end of it that she felt that it was hers.
Yes.
It wasn't anybody else's. And like the story you're telling about the young lady saying, have you seen my resume? This young woman went around and, did you hear what I did? Did you see my letter? Did you hear where I'm going to go now?
Right.
It's a sense of pride that they have, and it's great.
It's a fantastic combination.
Yeah.
And one of the things you've also added at NFI is peer support.
Yes, we have. At one of our programs, our IRTP Chauncey Hall, we have we started that program several years ago, and currently we have one peer support worker, and we're in the process of training somebody else to do it. And it has, just by adding that piece, what a transformation it has been for the program,
yes, for
the staff, and for the residents, the young adults and kids we treat. And what we're doing at NFI right now is we've expanded the training. So all of the residential programs have a trainer to do this, and we're in the process of identifying other young adults to go move into our group homes. And one of the things that I'm quite excited about that we're really looking to do is we're expanding this to our home-based programming.
Wow.
We do a lot of mentoring with young people that are dealing with mental health issues. But the mentoring is done with all quote-unquote professional staff that are going out and doing it. One of the things that we're looking to do is identify some of the young people that have gone through our program, train them to be peer supports, and go out with our mentors to do the mentoring in the community.
How fantastic.
Because I think that really is where we're seeing a lot of the movement, which I think is the right movement, is we have a lot of young people that are still at home, a lot of intact families. We really want to move this peer support movement really into the community.
Because young adults listen to other young adults.
Young adults do listen to other young adults. And
I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I have
I've been
degrees
part of it, yeah.
and certifications, but when I train a young adult, or when someone trains a young adult to effectively communicate with another young adult, the rapport that's built there, the kind of, I've been there, done that, and you know what, I tried this behavior, I tried this and it didn't work. And when they sit down and say, like, this is what I'm thinking, but I really want to hear what you're thinking, you just kind of have to stand back and watch them go forward. There's a level of support and a level of camaraderie that happens that is quite amazing.
You're absolutely right, and I really kind of had a moment for me a couple of years ago at Chauncey Hall, where we had a young person that was having a hard time at the end of the hallway, and there were two staff members working with that person and trying to help them through their crisis. And we had another young person who really wanted to go down and help. And myself and the program director at the time were trying to kind of talk her out of it. No, let the staff kind of manage and see if they can help this person through. And this young person was adamant. There was no stopping her. And so myself and the program director, Maria, said, okay. So we just let her go down the hallway. And I could see the view of the other two staff members who were working with the young person at the time, their eyes getting a little bigger.
Right. What are you doing?
What are you doing? You're not following this person. But she went down there, sat on the floor with this young person who was having a hard time, and it was just her mannerism, her tone, and it was, I know what you're doing. Yeah. I've been there. This isn't going to help. What can I do to help you to get you out of this moment? Wow. And this young person absolutely connected to her. Yeah. And it was, for Maria and I, it was like, okay,
we need to do this.
We've always known we've had to do this. We need to do this now.
Wow.
So that really was kind of the moment for me where I really saw it firsthand. And it's been a tremendous help at Chauncey Hall. And we've always done it somewhat informally at some of our other programs. Yes. We have a program in Arlington that routinely invites graduates back and has a graduate night. And they come in and they talk to the kids and all that. And that has been very effective. But absolutely, I've been doing this for 25 plus years, mostly in residential. I always thought I built good relationships with kids. I really could talk kids through, and then I had this experience. I'm like, okay, well, I'm done. They don't need me anymore. This is, so it is something that we are embracing full and going to have in all of our residential programs, but are really excited about moving this towards community-based, because I think it's a nice complement to the parent support workers, and we have that all throughout our programs. And we see that work very effectively with our families, that one parent with lived experience connecting with another parent who's going through a very difficult time, a crisis, and that has been very effective. So just want to extend that to peer support, because I think it will have the same effect.
Absolutely. There's just something powerful about someone who's been through the same experience. I think of one of my mentors who I was named after. Her name is Kim Powell, and she's a breast cancer survivor before there were breast cancer survivors, way back when. And she now goes out and does advocacy work around the world, quite literally, and she goes to developing countries, and she says, let's make sure that people get the initial screening, which can make a huge difference in survival rates and early detection and possible cures and things like that. But there's something amazing, even though we're good friends and we can talk, and she said, but there's something when you go on those walks and you connect with other survivors, and you connect with people who have real experience, who run their fingers through their hair, and fortunately I don't, but have that real experience. There's a real power in that. And it's sort of amazing that we haven't applied that to mental health before.
No, I agree with you, and I think, for us in mental health, I think it has been a long time coming, and I think we've moved there slowly. But I think we're at a point now that everybody is in agreement that at
Yes.
times we just need to move the so-called professionals out of the way.
Right.
That sometimes we muck up the waters. We have the best intentions,
Right.
but we muck up the waters.
Yeah.
And I think as we learn more and experience more, it's better for us to step back and let people who have had lived experience and a shared experience
Yeah.
have their voice come out more and more. And I think we're at a really nice crossroad now where we are looking to kind of marry the two.
Yes.
But it is an exciting time. It does have its challenges, but it is an exciting time.
Yeah, and young adults are fabulous to work with, and some people say, really? But they are, because they can make changes very rapidly. And
Absolutely.
they can, if once they decide, if they're honest with themselves and they're honest with the people who are supporting them, when they really decide what they want, you just have to step out of the way. But it's helping them connect to that. And peer mentors or certified peer specialists are a huge part of that.
Absolutely, because everyone wants to do well.
Yes, exactly.
Everyone does. And for the young people that I specifically work with, or throughout the system, they all want to do well.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. They're just in different periods or times in their life where they can't see the end. And absolutely, the certified peer specialists that come in, they have a much different perspective of saying you can work through this time. I work through it. It's going to be tough. It could be messy for a while, but you're going to get through it. And the nice thing about the peer specialists is they want to do well.
Yes.
For the ones that we worked with, they're coming in, they're very eager, they want to know how they can help, and they really want to get into it, and they really want to figure out a way to best support the young people that they're working with. And that's been a nice byproduct for the staff, because the peer specialists are coming in and they're bringing in another level of energy.
Yes, absolutely.
And that really changes the dynamic within the program and the energy level within the program, because they're coming in with a lot of good ideas, a lot of fresh ideas. And one of the things as we moved towards this was how were peer specialists kind of going to integrate within the staff, and how were the staff going to accept them. And we played out in our heads all these kind of scenarios, but for the staff at Chauncey Hall and for the staff at the other NFI programs that are looking to engage in this, they have welcomed it, they're excited about it, they're recognizing that this is just another tool that can be used to help people get to the place that they want to be.
Right.
So it's an exciting time.
It's very exciting. So I want to show your website because I want people to see if someone had, if a young adult is watching and saying, I need this kind of support, I might be able to reach out. So we have the NAFI website. We have the phone number up there. So if people...
Well, that's my phone number.
Oh, that's your direct phone?
That's my desk phone number. So I read the form wrong, but people feel free to give me a call. But that's my desk phone number, so that's all right.
That's real service we're
That
saying
is
here.
real service. Feel free to call me. But yeah, that is the website, and they can go on that, and it does show all of our services.
Fantastic.
And actually, I mean, NAFI is in 9 different states.
Wow, okay.
So if they have family members in either New York, all through New England, Maryland, Florida, up and down the East Coast, they also can access NAFI
Fantastic.
on that website, and that will lead them to numbers that they can call to get services.
Fantastic. And I also want to let people know I'm actually doing a training sponsored by the Department of Mental Health, who sponsors our show. And we're doing it for young adults with lived experience, young adults with mental health issues. And we're going to do it at a local Boston library. So if people are interested, they can email me at kim@radiate, R-A-D-I-A-T-E, careers with an S.com. Or if you Google me, my website will come up, Kim Bissett. B-I-S-S-E-T. And we're going to take young adults who have lived experience, and we're going to train them to be peer mentors and take them through this fantastic 10-week course that's going to take place right here in Boston. We're also going to do one in Worcester. So that's a resource for people to say, wow, this peer mentoring thing is for me.
Absolutely, and I think it's, if people are available to do it, I think it's a great thing to do. I mean, you did training for us, for our staff and for the kids, and they loved it. And so I think it's a great opportunity for anybody who wants to get involved.
Thank you very much. So, Chris Tuttle, thank you very much for being with us today. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Kim.
We're thrilled to have you. I'd like to say thank you very much for our viewers for tuning in once again to Picking Up the Pieces, where we dare to persevere and help young adults reach their full potential. We'd like to say thank you to the Department of Mental Health for tuning in, the Department of Mental Health for sponsoring our show, and for our audience for tuning in. We'd like you to reach out to that special person who might just be in need of some extra special support. This is Kim Bissett saying have a wonderful afternoon.